What's up guys, it's Emily from Living Plantfully and I am back in my kitchen today with another recipe for you guys. Before going vegan, I used to absolutely love eating like frittatas. If you don't know what a frittata is, it's basically like a egg pie or like an egg type of like thing, kind of like an omelet. So I wanted to kind of recreate a vegan version of a frittata, but I wanted to make it like an ultimate frittata, which has like all the components of like your favorite breakfast. So that's what we're going to be making today, like an ultimate vegan frittata. The recipe does have a few components, so let's go ahead and get right into the recipe. So to make my frittata, I am going to be making it in this kind of like cheesecake pan. It's the kind that has like the little release thing or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Guys, I don't know the baking terminology, okay? I'm not a baker, you should know that already. So this is what I'm gonna be using, this pan in specific. So you can totally do it in a regular pan. I just wanna do like a little fancy presentation at the end, which is why I'm using this. So I already have this prepped, lined with parchment paper that I just cut into a circle. So the first layer of our frittata is actually going to be like a hash brown layer or like a potato layer. What I have right here is some very thinly sliced regular potatoes. I just use my handy dandy little mandolin slicer and I use the second size, so it's not like the super thinnest one, but the one right above that. Just be very careful because these things are super sharp. So I have right here my potatoes. I just have them in some water so that they won't turn brown or anything like that. So what I'm going to do with these potatoes now is just go ahead and drain the water from them and then lay them on a kitchen tea towel and dry them off as best as I possibly can. And then once you get them as dry as you possibly can, we are going to transfer them right back into our bowl. So now we just want to season our sliced potatoes up with just a little bit of oil, some salt, pepper, and smoked paprika. Just toss those around really well so that every potato is nice and coated. And now we are going to stack our potatoes into our little tin. So I'm basically just going to stagger my potatoes as best as I can, just like one barely on top of the other, until I make my way around the whole entire bottom of the pan. So that is what mine looks like. You don't have to be all fancy like that. If you just want to put a single layer on the bottom, that's totally cool too. It's not gonna show honestly anyways, but I just wanted an even layer underneath everything else. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and pop this into my preheated oven, and you wanna keep a close eye on them because since they are very thinly sliced, they're gonna crisp up really fast. So while my potatoes are in the oven cooking up, I'm gonna start on the second layer of our frittata, which is gonna be like the vegetable layer. It's very simple. We're gonna keep this super basic, kind of like an omelet type thing. So I just have my pan over a medium heat, and in here I'm just going to add some oil, and then you can add honestly whatever kind of veggies that you would normally add into a omelet. Basically I'm gonna just go with some diced onion, and then I'm doing a mix of some bell peppers. So you want to hit your vegetables as well with a little bit of salt and pepper, nothing too heavy because most of our flavor is going to come from our egg mixture. Once that is nice and brown, then this is pretty much ready to go. So I'm just gonna set this aside now. All right, so I'm just getting my potatoes out of the oven and I let them get nice and crispy because again, this is like our hash brown layer. That is what those look like. It smells so good, literally smells like hash browns. So you just wanna set this aside until we're done with our egg mixture. So now it is time to make the egg portion of our frittata. So in my high-speed blender, I'm just basically gonna add all of the ingredients for the eggs. So I'm gonna run you through them really quick. This is just some firm tofu. It doesn't have to be the firm kind. This is just the kind that I get. Some unsweetened soy milk or whatever kind of milk you want. And then for our kind of like thickening binder agent, I'm gonna be using some tapioca starch or tapioca flour. I'm gonna be using a good amount of some nutritional yeast. This is gonna give it a really nice kind of like umami-ish flavor as well as a nice little color. To season our egg mixture, I'm going to be using some black salt. So black salt is very common in the vegan community because it's known for having like that sulfury kind of like eggy taste. a little tiny bit of some Dijon mustard. You want to add in a little pinch of turmeric to give it that yellow eggy color, a little bit of garlic powder, and lastly some pepper. So pop the lid on there, and then you're just gonna let your blender do its job and just blend this all together until it becomes a nice kind of like batter consistency, kind of like a pancake batter. You may need to kind of like open it up and scrape everything down from the sides just to make sure that everything gets nice and mixed up in there. It is so weird how similar to eggs this smells because of the black salt. So if you don't have black salt, I definitely recommend you try to find some if you like that kind of like eggy sulfury flavor, because it definitely gives it an eggy smell and taste. Pushed everything down, and now I'm just gonna pop the lid on and let it go one more time, just so that everything is really good and incorporated in there. All right, perfect. So this is kind of what we want it to look like right here. Again, kind of like a pancake batter that is ready to go. Now we have all of our components for our frittata, and now it's just time to put it all together. First thing that we're gonna wanna do is put our sauteed onions and peppers right on top of our beautifully cooked hash brown potatoes. Just kind of make sure that you have a nice even layer of that. And then on top of that, we are going to pour our egg mixture. So I have everything in my spring form pan, got the name. I have it all in here, and I'm just basically wiggling it around, tapping it just a little bit to get most of the air bubbles to the top. It's very important that you grease whatever dish you are baking your frittata in, because you don't want it to stick. That's gonna ruin everything. Now I'm just gonna pop this into my 350-degree preheated oven for 25 to 30 minutes, and then you just kind of want to keep an eye on it, check it, and just basically until everything is nice and firm, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. All right, so I just pulled my frittata out of the oven. The top is like nice and crispy. So what I did was I just basically pricked the center of my frittata with a like little skewer just to make sure that it was stiff throughout the whole thing. It is still gonna come out wet because it is kind of like an eggy type mixture. You don't want it to be like super dry, because that's not how eggs are, obviously, but you do want to make sure that it's kind of like nice and firm, not too jiggly, not too watery. I'm just gonna go ahead and run my little tiny spatula all along the sides just to make sure that nothing is like stuck or anything like that. Now I'm just going to basically let my frittata cool down for about 10 minutes, because you don't want to remove the spring form pan. You don't want to remove it until it's nice and set, so that way when we remove it, it's nice and firm and still holds its shape. All right, so then I just went ahead and removed it from the spring form pan, garnished it with some fresh chopped cilantro, and then cut myself a couple of beautiful slices. All right, guys, and there you have my ultimate vegan breakfast frittata. This smells super good. It is one of those dishes that you would like take to brunch, like a fancy brunch or something like that. It actually looks very similar to an actual frittata. We're gonna go ahead and give it a taste and see if it is up to par. So the texture of it is pretty spot on. Got the potato layer, the vegetable layer. Oh yeah. That is so good. The black salt literally makes it taste like eggy. That's a keeper. All right, y'all, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this incredible recipe. This is the perfect dish for the springtime. It has all of the colors, flavors. It's just perfection. I love this dish. I really hope that you give it a try. If you do, as always, please take a picture of it and share it with me on social media using hashtag livingplantfully, or tag me at livingplantfully. I'll leave all of my social media right here so that you can find me and tag me. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a huge thumbs up, and as always, click the subscribe button if you have not already joined the Living Plantfully family. We reached 1.5K, which is huge for me. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and yeah, I will see you guys next week. Bye.